Hello and welcome to the Shutdown podcast. I am one of your hosts, Scott Giessler.
And I am your second host, Elliott Giessler.
Elliott, thank you for doing this with me. So we decided to do a little experiment here where we, since we're been sequestered to our house for, who knows, you know?
Maybe half a month, maybe a month, maybe the rest of our lives.
Yeah, that would be great. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
Yeah.
So we decided that we were going to do ourselves a little podcast here.
I'd like to send a personal thank you to Rudy Gobert for shutting down the NBA. You're doing God's work. Okay. You're doing God's work.
Awesome. And meanwhile, all the rest of the planet, of course, is shutting down here. So we have some time to slow it down a little bit, talk about some things that are on our mind, and let's start, of course, with the thing that is on everybody's mind right now, the obvious elephant in the room: Tom Brady leaving the Patriots.
I think it's a good decision for him personally.
Okay.
I think Tampa Bay has what he needs. Mm-hmm. It has receivers, it has tight ends, a good O-line, and strong underrated defense, and a coach who is offensively minded and likes to have fun, unlike his former coach, Bill Belichick.
Do you think that's it? Do you think that's the reason why he left? He's like, you know what, my coach just doesn't ever smile, and I need that now from my coach?
Well, honestly, he said in the documentary he said there was a question asked of him, do you have fun when you're with the Patriots? And he said, I have my moments. Your moments? You've won 6 Super Bowls.
It does seem a little odd that would be his response in that situation.
Which makes me think maybe he's just tired of the Patriot way. Maybe he's seeing how Ben Roethlisberger, for instance, is getting paid a lot of money, and he has a lot of say in the offense, and he doesn't get that despite the fact that he's been far more successful.
Do you think that's was his code to say I'm in an abusive relationship?
Maybe
that was what he was saying.
Maybe anybody out there in an abusive relationship, just say I have my moments.
You have your moments, got it. And then there's that. I was kind of thinking about this, and I thought to myself, maybe this is just really. Maybe this just really is retirement. I mean, think about it. When most people retire, the kids move out of the house, and what do? They downsize to a smaller, more simple, perhaps slightly depressing house from the nice big full house that they had before.
Possibly.
And it's in Florida. I mean, think about it. He went from the Patriots.
New England.
He went from New England to Tampa Bay. I mean, if someone had said to me that, hey, how about, pick a team. What's the worst team you would send Tom Brady to? I'd have to say the Buccaneers. Maybe it's not the one. Maybe the Cardinals are. But it's got to be in the top 5 anyway.
Well, I'd argue that it's more of a midlife crisis, because when someone has a midlife crisis, mm-hmm. they buy a sports car, they go out, they do something different, they want to have more fun.
Right.
That's sort of what he's doing. He's going to a team that historically has had far more fun. They're a very...
Do you think they look at it that way? Do you think they say to themselves, oh, man, we're getting our butts kicked. This is the best time of our lives here. What do you think?
Don't have to look at their games. You have to look at is their coach, Bruce Arians. He's very famous for being a very outspoken person. Okay. He's apparently a very bombastic person. Like Bill Belichick is a very, come on, let's get this right. We're going to practice till 8 o'clock. Bruce Arians is more of a, at 5 o'clock, hey guys, cocktails on me, let's go home.
Do you think that's what they do, 5 o'clock? They're just like, that's it, it's margarita time?
Yeah, I mean...
Well, okay, if you're in Tampa Bay, I guess that's kind of I just think he woke up one morning and said, I'm tired of, playing in freezing rain.
Yeah.
And in Gillette Stadium where they can't even be bothered to buy a dome.
Another thing that it could be is, he might want to break some records, because if he goes there, he's going to have more passing yards than he did last season, far more passing touchdowns than he did last season. I think he knows he has his Super Bowls, and if he can win another one, that's great. But if he can get records to go along with that.
Yeah, stat building.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I suppose. What's his face threw 30 interceptions.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, last year. So, I mean, obviously, it's nothing but a step up for the club.
Yeah.
To be sure.
And you know what? It's a dream for the NFL, because first of all, for no matter how many years he's there, he's going to be playing Drew Brees twice a year.
Yeah.
And that's like a dream matchup. That's going to be on like Sunday Night Football. But not only that, he's also playing Patrick Mahomes next season. That's on the Buccaneers schedule. And he's playing Aaron Rodgers next season. Who are the other people?
Yeah.
Who are...
Well, yeah, I mean, fair enough. And as you pointed out earlier, this is finally a break for the Bills.
Yeah.
Perhaps they'll finally clinch a division title. I don't know. I guess the bigger question is just what could they possibly have in the pipeline for a replacement? So because I just don't see Stidham. I just don't see it.
He's a guy who we just don't know enough about because he looked good in college, but once the pressure was on, he seemed to shrink a little bit. Unlike Tom Brady, who was fine in college, but in the bigger moments, he would explode and become the Tom Brady that we know.
Right. Well, I think it's probably early yet.
Yeah.
Maybe they've got something in the pipeline. I would argue that there isn't much out there to go shopping for. You said Cam Newton before, and I don't. I don't know.
I think
that would
it's tough to tell with him.
That would be a very depressing,
yeah,
sort of outcome, I think, to this situation. Yeah. But
I see him going to the Redskins more likely because the Redskins seem to not have a quarterback because the guy they drafted just doesn't seem to be doing very well.
Yeah. No. Fair enough. So let's swap topics here. Let's move on here. So what have you been doing to keep busy in this home time? Now, just to kind of, if you're listening from outside the district, which seems unlikely, I'm going to be amazed if we actually have, any listeners. But here we go. We started. Let's just sort of kind of go back in the Wayback Machine to not this past Monday, but a week ago Monday.
Yeah.
All right. That's it. That's back on that Monday. I went into school, and the world was still running.
Yeah.
A week and a day ago, the world was still open.
Honestly, the day before we left, I thought we were just going to keep having school. Last Wednesday was the last day we had school. I figured we were just going to keep going.
Right. Well, what had happened was they even said to us, like, okay, nobody's saying this is going to happen, but we need to be ready down the road for online learning. Yeah. They said that to us on Tuesday.
Yeah.
I go in Wednesday. I look at my students and I say, okay, we need to start formulating a plan for what we're going to do if we have to do online learning. And I said to them very clearly, I am not saying we're about to shut down. In fact, far from it. I said, just on the remote possibility that we have to do the remote possibility, I will say. I use the word remote possibility that it comes up. We want to be ready for it. That way, if we're ready for it, it'll never happen. It's like every time you plan for an eventuality, and then it doesn't happen because you bothered to plan for it.
Yeah.
So that was on Wednesday. Thursday we shut down, and nobody's been back to school since.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not at all.
And we're not going back until at least April 6th, maybe later.
Right.
We don't know.
If you listen to the CDC, it's potentially more than that's a mixed message, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They say nobody should do anything until till May 11th, which is 8 weeks, except for academic institutions.
Yeah.
And businesses, places of business.
Yeah.
Which I'm not sure what's left after those two things, but
I'm trying to brainstorm what is left.
What are we not doing that's classified as business? And this is what you need in a time of crisis: vague sort of recommendations.
Yeah, we don't want anything definite.
No, please. Let's not be clear. Let's let everybody see if they can interpret. It's kind of like the Constitution.
Yeah.
In that way, 200 years later, this is what we think it says.
Yeah.
Second Amendment, depending on where you put the comma, you can have a gun.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, well, guns are probably never going to advance to the point where they'd be dangerous for people to have, so let's just put this in here. Let's let them interpret it in any way that they want.
Right. I think we just lost half of our listeners, which is half a zero is still zero. So that's the good news.
I mean, that's
lost
like
half of our listeners listening to that statement about, the Second Amendment. But, okay, so now here we are. We've been out of school now for it's a week.
Yeah.
Last Wednesday to this Wednesday.
Yep.
So what have you been doing to keep busy?
Well, I've been listening to car crashes. I've been listening to the sounds of cars hitting each other. I've been listening to the sounds.
That is horrifying. Speaking as your father for
Really?
a second.
That's
any particular reason why you've been listening to
just to fill the time,
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Keep going.
I've been listening to noises so high pitched that they break glass.
Great.
It's been people stepping on Legos.
Nice.
Yep, that's an all-time favorite.
Uh-huh.
And then I've been laughing at Rudy Gobert. That's
yeah. You got to think about Rudy Gobert here. Do we want to talk about that?
Okay. Rudy Gobert. Okay, so the man, very, I think, talented player. Who knows? Okay. We don't know. No one really heard of him.
Sure.
He made a joke about having the coronavirus during a pregame interview. He was good-spirited.
Yeah.
And he touched all the microphones after he was done when he was walking away. Ha ha, very funny.
Hilarious. Yeah.
I think it was the day after he tested positive for coronavirus. And everyone in the NBA was just like, shut it down, get rid of it all, test everyone. And now KD has it. And now Yankees pitchers have it. I don't even know how it got over there. It's not the same league.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay. So you think this is all Rudy Gobert's fault?
I don't know if it's all his fault. He didn't help. He's I mean, on the bright side, athletes are paying for the salaries of stadium workers while this whole thing is shut down, so that's good.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New CBA got approved in the NFL. They can have weed now.
Wait, what?
Yeah. The new CBA that was approved said that if you test positive for marijuana, it's not a suspension.
Is it anything?
I think it's like a slap on the wrist. I think it's hey, it's better to not do that than to do that.
Okay,
and then it's done.
Now that opens up a whole lot of questions.
Josh Gordon.
Okay, well, but you're sitting down at the negotiation table as it is. And you know that there are certain things you're going to need to give up, and there are certain things that you want and need, and not to ask for certain things.
Yeah.
And to ask for other things, you need to prioritize what you're asking for. And so what you're telling me is that somehow going like how they were going to do the playoffs and how salary caps were going to work and all those things in the discussion, somehow marijuana makes the cut.
I don't know. I mean, I don't really care because at this point it's legalized in over half the states in the nation. Like I don't. Yeah. I personally I don't care if you smoke marijuana. That's you. I don't care. Like, if you're a professional athlete, you're healthy as it is, and it's probably no worse for you than something like alcohol. Like,
I'm feeling great about how I raised you right now.
Yeah, you feel pretty good about that?
I feel like I'm father of the year right now.
You should feel great about yourself.
I am feeling fantastic.
But I think that might have just got lost amongst the scrum because they have the terrible new playoffs. I hate everything about it. And the new game that they're going to be adding in 2021. I don't know how the NFLPA let that through, but
right,
sure.
So, well, okay then. So you've been sounds like you've really kept yourself busy.
Yeah.
In our first shutdown time.
Yep.
So meanwhile, we're attempting to get schoolwork home to everybody. First day of online schooling.
2 days from now.
We're all going University Phoenix style here in 2 days from now, which should be fantastic.
Yeah. Really, I don't see anything going wrong here.
High expectations there.
Everyone is going to do their work 100% of the time.
I will say this. No, in all actuality, I have high hopes because I've had to spend a lot of days getting my mind around it.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really just sort of came home to me, like you take Brewster Academy.
Yeah.
Brewster, everybody has an Apple laptop.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, and this is only for what I teach. I can't speak for anything else, but for what I teach, what I was able to do for one of my classes was give everybody an Apple laptop and send them home with it.
Yeah.
Which was a doings all of its own, but I'm not going to get into that. But the point is, the setup that I have now, I can remotely demonstrate what I'm doing on my computer to them. Thank you, Google Hangouts. Live talking to them while sort of FaceTiming them kind of thing, which is I'm sure Google was thrilled that I called it FaceTiming.
Yeah.
It's sort of like, the Xerox company saying that, thank God that I don't have the analogy here. This joke's going to fall flat on its face.
We don't know what to do here.
Okay, but anyway, my point is that there's a lot in 12 days, because I did a 12-day lesson plan. I can do a lot in 12 days. I can get a lot done in 12 days. It's just if we have to go to more than that it's probably going to get challenging. But anyway, getting back to my root point is you look at, some of these schools that have issued everybody like a Mac laptop.
Yeah.
This, everybody's like, oh my God, what an extravagance that was. And they'd be right. And then all of a sudden this comes up.
Yeah. Out of nowhere.
And suddenly that would probably be the make or break for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Is having a computer, that high end of a computer at home, guaranteed kind of thing.
You said Brewster. What are they doing? Did they send their people home?
Yeah. They went on spring break and then they just never came back from it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, which was actually kind of fortuitous considering there's students that are coming from all over the country and all around the world.
Yeah.
They all went, to spring break.
That's what I was worried about. I was like, how do you get those guys home off schedule?
No, they were right on schedule.
Yeah.
In fact, I was talking to my brother, your uncle, and apparently they were on spring break.
Oh, wow.
When they canceled school down there, or at least sent it all home.
Yeah.
So that was actually happening right now. So it's anyway. So I have high hopes.
Yeah.
That we'll get a lot done in the short term. It's just a question of will people hang in there?
Yeah, I think the people who hang in there, do all their work, are going to get stuff done. I think we're going to keep moving in the curriculum. The problem I see are the kind of people who don't do their blizzard bags.
Yeah.
I don't see them doing some of their work and then getting behind and then coming back to school like, what did I miss? Well, buddy.
Everything.
You you kind of chose to not check your email for a month when you knew we were going online because they sent home emails to your parents. But that's just me.
It's been raining emails, I'm sure, all around the district. And the problem is, there was I saw a Facebook post. You remember Facebook?
Yeah.
From when you were a little tiny kid.
Yeah.
And it was still within your lexicon. That someone said that every email that they write now starts with, please read all of this email carefully.
Yeah.
And that's what it seems like what everybody has to do.
Yeah.
But, I think for the most part, I look at this situation, and I was remarking to a couple teacher friends, of all the types of crises that you guys would have to face, this is your generation's wheelhouse. This is your moment to shine. In other words, excuse me, 13-year-old, we need to interrupt your life, send you home, and basically you got to hang out at your house and keep yourself busy by talking to people through Snapchat and watching videos online and playing video games because you can't really leave the house. It was almost like they said, what kind of custom-built crisis can we throw at these guys? All those people that used to beat you up for, the millennials do this, which you're not even, by the way. Now you're in a crisis where it's like, you've been training your whole life for this moment.
Yeah.
Really. It's wonderful. In fact, as a father, I've moved your desk downstairs and make sure that you actually leave your room.
We're not going to get into that right now.
For the next 8 weeks.
You mentioned Snapchat. I just want to say something right here.
Go ahead.
So all those people who post the emails that the entire district got on their Snapchat story, thank you. I wouldn't have known that information without you. It's not like I got an email too. No. You're the only reason I know this. Thank you. Thank you for making a very important thing known that nobody else knew except for you.
I am detecting a little sarcasm here.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it sincere. I'm trying to keep it from the heart.
Here's the crazy thing. Okay, check this out. The letter that went home first got posted. You ready for this? On Facebook. I got it on Facebook.
Is that even a real thing?
Yeah, I got it on Facebook. And then, but we went to school and had a faculty meeting and found out, are you ready for this one? They unlocked Facebook at school. I was like, what? Oh my God, am I on the moon here? And I went and quickly, right in the middle of the meeting, like the responsible adult I was, I pulled out my phone and checked it, and son of a gun, I was getting Facebook on the school Wi-Fi.
Well, what do you know?
It was, I mean, you want to talk about, that the world has changed with this crisis. that's your pinnacle example right there.
Yep.
Right. Not them shutting down the NBA.
Yeah.
Or the MLB,
or people buying out the toilet paper.
MLS or toilet. Okay, yeah. Let's just stop right here and let's examine that for a second.
Toilet paper made the cut, not like bottled water or like anything. Toilet paper.
Right.
Like you're not gonna go buy like canned foods or non-perishables. Not with toilet paper. That's what you need.
Well, I don't disagree. I guess what I'm trying to work out. From somebody had said, and okay, there. Let's just say there is no facts here. This is all rumor and speculation. That it started with people having the fear that if you got sick, it would give you diarrhea and you would go through toilet paper faster. Okay, now, like I said, don't, CDC, you hear this podcast, which seems extremely likely.
Yeah.
Don't go back and say, did we miss a step? No, that's just me, what I heard from somebody, and I'm wondering if that, it seems more likely to me that some stores rather, ran out of toilet paper, and a bunch of people posted that online and hit the news, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh my God, we got to go get toilet paper.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a good thing that the CDC isn't working a lot on this either. I think I told you earlier, when the NHL shut down, scientists in Canada immediately isolated the coronavirus. It's like, oh, great. So now you're paying attention. Thanks, guys. Thanks for waiting until the one thing you care about.
Right. Right. It seemed we hit him where it hurts.
Yeah. You always say sorry, and you don't say sorry the one time it's actually earned. Like,
yeah, I don't know. And then I read a story in the New York Post today about, and I don't know if they posted it today, but I read it today where they were saying that China has closed down the last of the temporary hospitals that they opened up.
Yeah.
To deal with the coronavirus over there.
That's good.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that means they're doing something about it.
And they built 2 hospitals in 2 weeks. By the way, you can go online and check that out. They've got a video that you can see of them assembling it, both of them in a matter of 2 weeks. As we were discussing before, they kind of do things differently over there.
Yeah, no manual labor was paid for in that, I'm sure.
How do you think they got around all the paperwork and code violation issues of construction there? I think they had some way to kind of cut through that red tape there.
I think that maybe the current president of China maybe pulled some strings. I'm not saying anything definitive.
Probably went to some of the local contracting companies in Wuhan and said, "Listen."
I'm sure he approved it all with China's parliament. I'm sure.
I would consider it a personal favor.
Yeah.
If you guys could, maybe move some of this paperwork along a little bit quicker than you normally do.
No threats were involved.
I'm sure not. And I'm sure all those people got time and a half, if not double overtime, with the labor that they did.
No, not they were not paid.
They not paid. I lost track of that. I'm going to assume what you're saying is that they were not paid. Yeah.
I'm not saying anything definitive.
Mm-hmm.
However,
well, they might have gotten paid. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean,
but does it seem likely?
It probably. I'm thinking if the thing went up in 2 weeks, I'm sure it's going to be one of those things where they were told, don't worry, the check's coming.
Yeah, no,
it's in the mail. It's coming.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
And it's sure it will. Just give it some time. I mean, I can't even imagine what a complaint bureau would look like over there. If you didn't get the check, what I'm sure there would be. Sure, they would jump.
Probably a burning trash can, and it's just a conveyor belt that goes into it.
Just goes into everything gets dumped right in there.
There you go.
They call that circular filing here. So you've got classes. What classes do you have online that you're going to be dealing with?
Well, the one I'm most questioning is gym. I don't even know what we're going to do because there's only so many times you can say, okay, go outside. I'm going to trust that you actually did this.
Well, okay, but can't you do some things where you say, all right, here's some of the history of, physical fitness or history of a sport, maybe?
Maybe.
Like you can learn about how.
I mean, you basically have to change entirely what gym is about because you can't do what we do in gym
Okay,
from home.
But that's absolutely true. Probably about like half the subjects that people are teaching.
True.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, you can learn about like baseball from the early 1900s, where they basically the coach as part of the training regiment like forced everybody to smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
then everyone was just
and drink tonic.
Yeah.
I don't know what was in the tonic.
Marlboro, the official cigarette of the MLB. Like.
Yeah,
something. Just everything was just
would
weird.
just be that. So they could teach you about that. They could teach you about like the history of sports and whatnot. But I mean, the other thing is you gotta. They sent Tom a training regimen for track.
Yeah, well, Tom got that. They haven't done that for me.
Oh,
I don't even know when my track starts. I didn't even know when it was supposed to start before this whole thing got canceled.
Well, obviously at this point, I think that everything.
It's not going to start till like after we get home from April vacation.
Right. Everything is probably very much up in the air. I mean, who's to say that they couldn't? The whole thing that keeps it at bay is usually like the snow, the weather.
Yeah.
And it's something that, admittedly, you go back if everybody's, I mean, they probably won't. I mean, you're right. They probably can't do the track meets until after May 11th because they said no gatherings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we could do practices, but they said no more in groups of 10 people. So what we'd have to do is just have like, okay, everyone go over there. Don't touch the other groups.
Go socially distance now yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, okay. You could do that.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I don't know how group I don't know how big my track group is going to be, but who knows?
Everything's so up in the air. I mean, how quickly things shut down.
Yeah.
I wonder, and I don't know this, but I wonder if we're all going to wake up one morning and find out that Disney World opened back up again, and Harvard said, you know what, we're going to bring everybody in for graduation.
And then all the sports started again.
And all of a sudden, boom, it's yet another domino effect.
Because I think one big thing shut down, and then everyone else is shutting down because they had to do it. Mm-hmm. And then I think they shut down preemptively somewhat. Because
in doing the reading now, I don't think it was preemptive. I think it was actually late.
You think?
Well, from everything that I've read up on, I mean, take China.
Yeah.
China, pulled a switch.
Yeah.
Like, okay, everything's shut down. Boom.
Yeah, they have a way of doing that over there.
They have a way of somehow they've got some mechanisms there.
Burning trash can and conveyor belt.
Exactly. So, but over here, everything was done so much more at a and I didn't know this at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, I only started really reading up on this, once our world started getting hit, and it's become very clear to me that had someone back in February said, "Oh, it hit our shores. Here's the off switch."
Yeah,
we probably would be halfway through, if not 3/4 the way through this, and could see a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah,
but we didn't. We didn't know. We weren't. Decisions weren't made. And because over here we don't. Well, it's a little bit different than China.
Yeah, I don't. Something about businesses being private and no government involvement. I don't know.
Yeah, and you don't have army trucks rolling up the center avenue of your town on a regular basis.
Yeah.
But in any case,
nothing happened at Dominion Square.
It seems to me that, if we had reacted faster, because we've never had anything like this before, and I don't blame anyone for not reacting faster.
Yeah.
Because we had no sense of take the next time.
Yeah.
If there's a next time, will everything just happen that much quicker? I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah. It's tough to say. So, anyhow, well, we're coming up on the 30-minute mark here, and I think we're going to keep doing these podcasts for a little bit every day. We'll try to pick some topics that. Yeah. This is just sort of our catch-up episode to everything that's happened so far. We're going to start really hitting like the ground-breaking topics in the next episode, like how we've been killing time with Madden.
Yeah, Madden 20
and Minecraft on the PlayStation.
Yeah, who let the dogs out?
Right, we'll be covering that.
All these things and more will come to you next episode.
Right, exactly. So make sure you, all two of you that are listening, stay posted and stay tuned, because we'll have so much more great stuff. Okay, so that'll wrap it up. Thanks for listening. I'm Scott Giessler.
I'm Elliott Giessler.
And this has been the Shutdown Podcast, Episode 1. We'll see.
The Phantom Menace.
The Phantom Menace. Oh, God. God. We'll never get them back. Oh, jeez. All righty. Thanks a lot. See you next time.